And we saw one would look like 30 minutes ago, and now I'm zooming in at 8:50 a.m. And there's now what it looks like. Still a pattern, a grid pattern. But it has changed in the last 30 minutes. There's definitely something going on that is
somebody
not natural.
playing with.
Now it's almost in the shape of a cross, an upside down cross. That's not natural, guys.
Who's playing?
I'm sorry, I don't believe that's natural.
Is that Hawk playing with the weather?
And if that
are they using Hawk?
Is right where that volcano is,
the plume,
and that happens to be
are they trying to cause
an area that they have pointed out in the past could cause a tsunami because they're you know,
evil,
because of the instability of that big rock there. And that is very interesting. What a design, huh? Well, hello guys, David Vos here. It's another beautiful, I woke up and there it was, a beautiful day in Oklahoma. And I'm sitting here watching the sun come up and I found something. I hope you're having a wonderful day, guys, but I found something that might make you pause this morning while you're having your coffee. Most of you probably won't watch this until this afternoon or this evening. But we've got some trouble coming here. It looks like to me. Trouble that I could never even have dreamt of. Guys, trouble that I could never have even dreamt of. And it is worrisome. How about, on top of the thing we're going through for the last year and a half, what if you threw in a tsunami 150 feet high that would reach all the way from, say, up around Maine, the coast, New York, wherever, all the way down the East Coast, down through the Mexico, Gulf Coast, down through the South American coast in Brazil, and all the way down. 150 feet, all the major cities wiped off the face of the map. How could they possibly do that? Listen to this. World Bulletin, evidence that La Palma eruption and earthquakes are artificial attacks. Artificial attack? What? From who? Well, I'll be darned. Look at that. Look at the pattern. Artificial earthquake attacks. That's a picture. I will show you. We're going to go to the site where they show where all the earthquakes are. And we'll look at what's going on there now, because this picture was taken hours ago, about 7 hours ago or more. And so I've just done that just now. This map has all the earthquakes going on at different depths. And from this vantage point, they all look just like big red dots. But take a look at here, right off the coast of Africa, which is right across the pond from the east coast of America, as well as South America. If we had a tsunami here, it would wipe out the entire, Brazilian coast, Mexico, United States, and Canada. 160 feet of water. Zoom into this place here. Los Llanos, Santa Cruz de la Palma. Look at the pattern there. It's like they're detonating bombs in a graph. Now, at this point, you only see 3 on the bottom and two lines going up, three high. But earlier, there were even more. It was this crisscross of up and down in little squares, like playing the hangman or or something. We used to play as kids, but it was like 3 to 4 wide into a big square instead of just 2. But whenever these things go off, and this has been going on for an hour or two, or several hours, and the earthquakes happen in symmetrical lines. I think they're doing it on purpose. See, another one there shows up. But I've looked, and there's another one now right there. Always in a straight line, this one here. That wasn't there a second ago. It's in straight line with that. This is crazy. Now, it's still going on. They're in the same pattern, but there's not as many of them at the moment. But it says the volcanic eruption, which began on the... But listen, guys, it's not just volcanoes. Listen carefully what's about to happen. A tsunami, and they're planning it. Watch this. Well, we don't know. We're speculating. But you be the judge, and as we give you the evidence. Because if this is so, if it's even possible, I would recommend everybody going on vacation. It's on the East Coast for a while because, or at least I don't know how quickly you'd have time if they announced the tsunami was coming. You might have an hour to get out. But at least we ought to know what might be coming here so we can be prepared. And it says the volcanic eruption began on the island of La Palma in the Canary Islands, Atlantic Ocean, off the northwest coast of Africa. Seems to be getting some help, artificial help, to make it worse. Evidence below. When the Cumbre Viejo volcano on La Palma began erupting on September the 10th, it immediately became the focus of intense attention because that island is the only place in the world which can generate a tsunami wave which is capable of literally destroying the entire east coast of North America. Back in the 1990s, several scientists closely studied the event, went inside the then dormant volcano, and found that the entire southwest flank had become unstable and could slide into the Atlantic Ocean. That unstable landmass is the size of the island of Manhattan, New York City, and would generate a tsunami wave. Computer models showed the tsunami would begin hitting the United States East Coast within 7 to 8 hours and would smash almost all the major cities with a wall of water 30 meters to 50 meters high. And that would mean a wave 100 to 164 feet tall, lasting 5 to 45 minutes as it flooded 12 to 15 miles inland. As interest in the eruption grew, people started paying closer attention to what was taking place there. Tonight, that attention has paid off. The European Mediterranean Seismological Center, the EMSC, was founded in 1975 following a recommendation from the European Seismological Commission, the ESC. The ESC is a regional commission to the International Association of Seismology or Physics of the Earth's Interior, itself a specialized association of the International Union of Geodesy and Geophysics. Put simply, it is Europe's equivalent to the U.S. Geological Survey in the USA. Tonight, if someone goes to the EMC or EMSC website to look at earthquake taking place on the island at La Palma, they get a map showing this. So when you don't zoom in, you just see this big red dot. The red dot forming a blob of red indicates the ongoing clusters of earthquakes around the erupting volcano. If you zoom in a little closer on the same earthquake map, you see this. But what happens when you zoom in really close? You see that. That's almost a perfect grid pattern. they say. There is no way that's natural. No possible way at all.
Wow.
Hal Turner, editorial opinion. It looks as though La Palma is being attacked. It appears some type of technology is being used to specifically target the island and cause earthquakes. And the attack pattern indicates it is intended to deliberately weaken the same southwest flank where the unstable landmass is located. There are even precise secondary earthquakes in the precise location of earlier earthquakes. This appears to be a deliberate effort to cause the flank to slide into the ocean and generate a tsunami to wipe out the United States East Coast. Whoever is doing this appears to be trying to cause the destruction of the United States East Coast. This may be an actual act of war. Unless, of course, it's the U.S. government doing it to cause a calamity which wipes out a slew of people who would no longer be able to claim welfare, Medicare, or Medicaid. Think of how many people on the East Coast who have paid into Social Security for years wouldn't be alive to claim any benefits. Big savings for the United States government. Even more enticing, well, now I don't necessarily go along with that reasoning, but okay, there may be a lot of reasonings, is the point. It would suit them. But of course, if you weaken the United States, what are you doing? You're making chaos in the world. This is the world empire. And this is setting up the world to change hands and to make a new world government. You got to get rid of the United States to do that, because there's people over here that still have their Second Amendment rights and a constitution. We still believe we do anyway. And they don't like that. So it says even more enticing for some of the government control freaks. It would be a perfect excuse to implement nationwide martial law. When all the big bank headquarters got demolished and the business capital of the country was destroyed, allowing the government to justify their takeover of everything. How about this? The tsunami happens. It kills the estimated 65 million that FEMA thinks could die in such a cataclysm. So the government goes to the bankers and says, the country is wrecked. We have no hope at all of paying our 28 trillion. National debt, we need debt forgiveness. And they get the slate wiped clean so they can start the whole shebang all over again. Whatever's going on in La Palma may have been begun naturally. But as of 11:45 p.m. Eastern U.S. time on Friday, the October 22nd. Okay, so that is actually more than 7 hours ago. Quite a long time ago, because it's now, I'm saying this at 8:47 a.m. on the next day. So, it's still happening for all these hours. I'll show you that. But it now clearly looks as though some type of man-made attack is taking place. It looks like somebody wants a lot of Americans dead. So, they give us a direct link to the EMSC. Let's check it out. But this is the Hal Turner radio show. So, shout out to Hal Turner for this information. Well, let's go and take a look at the site. All right, this is the 8-9 hours ago or more.
Customize and save with Liberty Mutual. Ball.
And I don't know who the guy is that's pointing to this, but he's brought this up and he's showing this. This is hours ago. And this is what it looked like then. But the information that we're getting here, that we're seeing here, came originally from Hal Turner on his website. But take a look at that. That's what it looked like, the pattern. So it's dwindled down since then. But this has been going on for hours and hours in this grid pattern. See, he's pointing to each of these in that grid pattern. It's just crazy. But let's go to that site. Let's click on the link that he gave us and see what it looks like at the present moment at about 9 o'clock in the morning. Go to the global map. So there's what it looks like when you go to this map. You see there are earthquakes all over. There's some earthquakes in Hawaii, Alaska, the West Coast, down in looks like Cuba or something, down in Chile, in Europe, in Asia. We've got big earthquakes going on in Taiwan, the Philippines, Japan. All right, nothing to see here. These happen every day. Zoom into any of these and what do you see? Just a round dot. Usually one earthquake. Sometimes you'll have another one over here somewhere or something. Let's take a look at this one. Taiwan. Now, if something was hanky-panky going on, you might think maybe it'd be here because evidently China just did some shenanigans. They're trying to take Taiwan back. Well, there's just one little earthquake. I don't know if it's little, but it's one lone earthquake by itself off the coast of Taiwan. Okay, you can do this all over the place. Let's take a real big one. Something that looks real big. I don't know, maybe this one down here. All right, it's just one up here, one there, just down the coast, one by one. There's nothing, doesn't look like a grid or anything. But when we go to this one, now take a look at this red dot off the coast of Africa. You see it's just the pond is right there. It goes right across the Atlantic Ocean and the wave would hit North America as well as Brazil. Zooming in on it. Now remember, we've already seen a picture of what it looked like yesterday. And we saw one that looked like 30 minutes ago. And now I'm zooming in at 8:50 a.m. And there's now what it looks like. Still a pattern, a grid pattern. But it has changed in the last 30 minutes. There's definitely something going on that is not natural. Now it's almost in the shape of a cross, an upside down cross. That's not natural, guys. I'm sorry, I don't believe that's natural. And if that is right where that volcano is, and that happens to be an area that they have pointed out in the past could cause a tsunami because they're because of the instability of that big rock there. Then that is very interesting. What a design, huh? If they keep this up, they've now done it for almost, 15, 16 hours or something. If this, and probably was going on before that person already took a visual